This conference will now be recorded.
Be with our staff, our first responders. I pray that you watch over them throughout the rest of this week a couple weeks till we meet again. We pray these things in Christ's name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any additions, deletions to the agenda?
Mayor, we'd like to pull item number 1 off the consent agenda.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Recognition of visitors.
Need approval of the agenda.
Okay, I'm sorry. Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, been moved second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Recognition of visitors.
Introduce and swear in newly hired police officer Sean Randall.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity for us to introduce our new hired officer, Sean Randall. Sean Randall began employment with our Kansas City Police Department on October 21st as a full-time police officer. And we initiated Sean with his first week by working Arkalala. Sean successfully completed all of the rigorous phases of the ACPD hiring process, including the written tests all the way through all the medical screenings. Sean is very familiar with our Kansas City. He graduated from Winfield High School and has been employed with Sonic for 17 years. The last 11 years, he's been the manager of our local Sonic here in our Kansas City. Sean says he has always wanted to be a police officer and strong admires an uncle who is a police officer in Arizona and decided that this was the right time for him to make that career change. Sean is currently assigned to a field training officer on the day 1 shift and will be attending the 338th basic training class at KLETC starting December 2nd. We're excited to welcome Sean into the Kansas City Police Department family. At this time, I'd like to ask the city clerk to administer the oath of honor to Officer Randall.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. On my honor, I will never betray my badge,
I will never betray my badge,
my integrity,
my integrity,
my character,
my character,
or the public trust.
or the public trust.
I will always have the courage
I will always have the courage
to hold myself and others
to hold myself and others
accountable for our actions.
accountable for our actions.
I always uphold
I will always uphold
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Kansas,
and the state of Kansas,
my community,
my community,
and the agency I serve.
and the agency I serve.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Good luck at the academy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Look forward to working with you. Thank you, Bobby.
Song explained.
Yeah. Okay, next is the consent agenda. We took it out. The number one, what's left in consent agenda is resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to purchase emergency siren repair parts for precision communication for an amount not to exceed $20,032.25. And then the third one is approved October 14th, 2024, and October the 28th, 2024 special meeting minutes, and October 15th, 2024 regular minutes as written. I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Do we have to do anything with corrected?
I gave you copies of corrected. The only thing I didn't have correct was where I put the resolution.
Okay.
number.
We don't have to do anything to the
Oh, we
consent
can.
agenda for that. Okay.
She's already corrected them, so
Okay.
she gave you a copy of the correction. So I need a motion of the consent agenda.
I move we approve the consent agenda amended.
Second it?
Okay, it's been moved second. Any more discussions, Charlie?
No.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Number one, on public hearing.
Okay, public hearing to evaluate the performance of community development block grant number 22 HR 001. And Megan Unruh, who is our grant administrator with South Central Kansas Economic Development, is going to join us virtually and speak about this item.
Okay. She couldn't make it tonight, so we got her on Zoom, so.
Hi, let me know if you can hear me okay. I think I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties with my computer today.
So we can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is my video coming in at all?
I think we're working on that. I don't know. I think, yeah, this might be the easiest way.
Okay, it's a little choppy on my end and I'm afraid my computer might crash. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to turn my camera off. Just in case. The first time I tried logging in, the computer crashed. So I don't want to lose you again.
Okay, so we'll probably just keep the agenda up on our end for your item.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so today for discussion, we have the grant closeout of grant number 22 HR 001. I'm joining you today from SCED as the grant administrator for this project. This is part of the performance evaluation of the grant, where we can take any questions or comments regarding the grant and receive public feedback on the performance of this grant. The subsequent packet goes over all the funds utilized on the grant, the beneficiaries from the grant, any funds returned. Technically, this was a reimbursement grant, so these funds were never in hand. And then it also goes through all of the housing applications we received, the precise budget on the grant itself, and then towards the end, you'll find all of the specific beneficiaries. So if anybody would like to discuss any questions or have any comments on the grant, I'd be happy to help record those for future reference for future grants.
Okay, I think at this time, the mayor is going to open the floor for public comment unless the commission has questions for her right now.
Do you want to explain what this grant's all about? I mean, in a sense, what kind of housing, what we're trying to do?
Absolutely, I'd love to. So this is
Before
for
we
this.
go into this public hearing thing, so people understand.
Yeah, of course, of course. So this is for the Community Development Block Grant for Housing Rehabilitation. There are several different kinds of community development block grants. This one specifically has a maximum award of $300,000, which the city of Arkansas City was awarded. This grant allows up to $25,000 per property for necessary rehabilitation of structures for low to moderate income residents. The great thing about this grant, it is a very low cost grant to the city. but it does require a lot of effort through your city staff, and a lot of dedication put forth through your team has been put in to, see these different housing projects be successful. This covers safety items such as electrical changes. It can be addressing lead-based paint hazards on deteriorated windows or siding. We also address weatherization items in addition to this grant through the Kansas Weatherization Assistance Program.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to open a public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, open the floor for the public to speak. Does anybody in here want to speak about what we're trying to do? Have any questions or whatever? Okay, if not, I close the floor for the public hearing. I make a motion, we come out of the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Does anybody, any commission have anything to say about what you just said or?
No.
Okay. Well, that being said, on number 1A, I make a motion, a resolution authorizing the mayor's designee to sign the appropriate documentation to close out a community development block grant CDBG number 22-HR-001.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. It's going to be a voice vote. Anybody have any discussion on that? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. So Megan, I thank you for joining us and motion carried on it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me this evening, and I look forward to working with your staff on future housing grants.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
New business number 1.
An ordinance authorizing the city of Arkansas City to adopt the 2023 National Electric Code and the 2024 International Code Council Code family of codes. And Mike Bellis is here.
Mr. Mayor, City Commissioners, the City Trades Board voted unanimously to adopt the codes as written. There's quite a few changes in the codes in the electrical building and all that. A lot of us with the safety part of it, and to keep it up to date. And this would also help us on the ISO rating for the insurance. I suggest that we adopt it.
I just got one question. So if I read it right, this is from 2023. Is that the most current one?
The 2023 is the NEC National Electrical Code, and the 2024 is the ICC codes, which is building, plumbing, and mechanical, and all that.
So it's not a year. It's the most. It's like a OSHA 10 or 1910 or something too. Okay.
Actually, we will be one of the first cities in Kansas to adopt the codes.
And why is that? Because
we're just on top of things.
Hey, I like that. I like that question.
That's a good answer.
Good answer.
Does this mean if you've already started construction, you're going to have to jump up to that?
No, if you've already started a permit prior to the adoption of the code, then and we're going to implement it January the 1st of 2025. If you have to get a permit on December the 31st, then you still stay underneath the old codes.
When was the last time we did that? 2 years ago?
2015.
2015? Wow.
Yes, sir.
Well,
With the ISO rating, if it's past 5 years, then we don't get any help on the insurance on that.
How much, what's the kind of help were we talking about? 2, 3, 4, 5% on?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
What is the ISO now? What ISO rating now?
So this ISO has to do with building codes, and we just recently, it was about, 2 years ago, Josh, that we kind of went through the process and got into that program.
Okay.
And then the other ISO that you're probably familiar with is
Fire
protection. So this is a newer one that, and let's say, we actually got into the program about 2 years ago. And what percentage did we qualify for now? Is it 5?
Well, what you're referring to is the flood insurance specific.
Oh, the flood one. Okay. But we're still working on this one then?
This is different.
Okay.
This is a audit every 5 years that they do to us. And actually, back in 2022, I think is when it was audited. And that's the first time I ever did it. So I was really to get my feet wet on it. I learned quite a bit from the.
Is there a lot of changes from the old one to the 24? I mean,
There's quite a few changes, yes. A lot of it was with timber mass, the spans on it, different things on carbon monoxide for the mechanical part of it, for fluid piping.
okay,
And a lot on electrical too.
okay. And the planning commission looked at it and approved it.
The building and trade.
I mean, building and trade, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they voted unanimously to accept it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
I move that we authorize the city of Arkansas City to adopt the 2023 National Electric Code, NEC, and the 2024 International Code Council, ICC, family of codes.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved to second. This is going to be a roll call vote.
I'll bring up one other thing.
Yeah.
This is just the building codes. The fire code will be with the fire. They will bring up the 2024 code.
When will that be?
That's up to Stuart now.
Okay.
Depends on how on top of it they are.
Yeah. Okay, it's going to be a roll call vote. Is there anybody got any questions before we go on a roll call vote? No. Okay, if not, go ahead.
Commissioner Beeson?
Yes.
Commissioner Stone?
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedy?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
Yes, motion carries. And then number 2,
An ordinance establishing the registration of neglected buildings in the city of Arkansas City, Kansas.
This is the documentation I gave everybody a few months ago. Tiffany has done an outstanding job helping me out on this stuff, getting it ready with the verbiage and everything on it. Wichita has a really good neglected building code that they have, and I just really thought it would really fit us really well. The registration fee, and this is for neglected buildings. The registration fee is $25. It's one fee. If the property owner fails to do it or refuses to do it, then we can implement a $250 fine on that every 90 days after that. But it's a good process. It hopefully will implement to where the property owners in state, out of state will comply.
well, that's one of the big problems we have right now. Those property owners are out of state, and there's people down there spending money on their property, and there's a delinquent property right next to it that's hurting the value of their property, and it's not fair, for them to work on their properties when the other person's not doing theirs.
A lot of times these out of state people, they buy the properties for a tax deduction.
Right.
Is this citywide?
This will be citywide. This will be commercial and residential.
This will go in effect immediately or January 1 or when?
I always like to try to implement January 1.
Okay.
That makes it simple.
Now, are we going to notify all of these owners before that date?
But what we'll do is, anybody that has a neglected building through lack of maintenance and that, then what I'll do is a list of them, we'll notify them, and we'll draw up a registration form for them that is filled out in this form, and we'll get in touch with them at that time.
Now, this will all be certified mail.
Yes, yes. And it says that you don't have to do certified mail for the residences in Cali County, but I still feel like we should do certified mail no matter what. Absolutely.
Yeah, that gives proof that they got the notification.
Proof's always good.
Yeah.
Here, I move we establish the registration of neglected buildings in the city of Arkansas City, Kansas.
I'll second that. Okay, it's been moved and second. Any discussion? This will be another roll call vote. If not,
Commissioner Beeson?
Yes.
Commissioner Stone?
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedy?
Yes.
Mayor Warren?
yes, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Number 3,
Approve employee health insurance renewal for the 2025 plan year. Marla McFarland, Human Resources Director, is here to speak. No.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. And as I say, every year, here we are again. I can't believe it's end of the year, fourth quarter benefits season. So we have some changes. We have a renewal from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, whom we've been with many, many years, to provide health insurance for our employees and their dependents for the 2025 plan year. We have looked at different options and considered the value of this plan to our employees and families, and are suggesting that we do continue offering this plan to the employees and the dependents for the 2025 plan year. You will note under background A, we did receive a rather substantial increase of 21%. As you know, health insurance goes up and goes down and goes up and goes down, and that's just how health insurance works. It depends on trend, it depends on claims and utilization. So what we are proposing is asking you to approve to continue this plan with no changes for 2025. The change that we are requesting is to ask staff to pay an additional 10% on what they are currently paying for their private premiums through payroll deduction.
Have you already talked to them about that, or?
No, I have not. I've talked to a few, and I think from what I have heard from them, they are truly okay with it, as they understand. They truly do understand. I think most of them do understand the value of this plan for them as employees, and they understand that everything is going up. And also the fact of the matter, many understand, is that even if we were to compare to other employers' plans that are not, don't have such nice benefits, higher deductibles, higher co-insurance, higher co-pays, some exclusions and things such as that, our premiums are still right in line with some of those plans, even some high deductible health plans. And I would hope to say that it's been through our determined management over all these years to stick with the, stay the course and maintain this benefit, that we have three very nice plans, 3 deductible levels, and the cost, yet of course very expensive, is quite comparable to many plans that are not as good.
Do we still get a rebate at the end of the year from Blue Cross if we don't overextend ourselves?
Okay, so that's a very good question. And that is one of the things, we are one of the few employers left that has what they call a reserve. Okay, and that is where, and other insurance, United, and what the other one is, they do it as well. But what it is that a portion of your premiums, if you still have what they call, it's called retro as well, retro account, that if you come up in the positive, that you could get a rebate money back at some point in the year. And I do remember taking some nice checks to finance in the past. However, it has been quite some time. We have elected to maintain that account. Although I talked to the Blue Cross rep today, we are 700 and some thousand in the hole.
Not good.
So it would really take a long time to build that.
So we've had a lot of claims then over
Yes,
last year.
sir. Yes, sir. We had,
We've got some costly claims that were not work related at all.
yes, sir. And
That drug on for quite a while.
long time. And what, I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but what was paid in total premiums for 2024, they almost paid out in claims, and thus the 21% increase.
This to Jennifer, on that 21%, how do you, do we budget for 21%?
Yeah, so Marla and Randy and I have sat down multiple times, spent a lot of time on this, and yes, this would cover what I budgeted.
So what about next year? Are we going to budget another 21% or? I mean, I'm just talking out loud.
Trend reports throughout the year.
Okay.
See where we're at. And
I would say if they're
budget.
catching themselves up, they're not going to hit as hard again for a while. I mean, I will say this is one thing I miss working for the city. This was an excellent benefit. And I don't think that anybody on the city has seen this as an issue either. I'm looking at the most expensive increase is going to be $17.
Well, we miss you, and if you'd like to go back.
So I agree. I don't think that they're going to be upset with it all. I think this is a great plan. It's a great benefit for the employees. And I know a lot of times when employees are complaining about maybe lower pay than they think, you can throw in an extra $5 or $6 an hour easy.
Certainly.
Just on the benefits that they get from this plan. So I think it's a tremendous benefit for our employees.
You gonna make a motion?
I will make a motion that we accept, approve the employee health insurance renewal for 2025.
Second.
I will second that.
Well, you're not dying, Deej, you can second. So it's been moved to second. Any other discussion on it? If not, it's going to be a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. That's just wonderful. Again, on behalf of the men and women out there that make it happen, thank you very much. We know that your support provides this benefit to the employees.
Okay, number 4.
Approve employee vision insurance renewal for the 2025 plan year.
Okay, this one's pretty simple. The person that we worked with, Monica Hitty, that used to be with Booterball and Hanlon and then IMA, she has retired. So we are working with another broker through a different agency. They help us get these benefits and get them going. And his name is Vern, and he has helped us look at adding an additional option on our vision plan. So he's going to take over the administration of it on that end. We still do our end. And that we've got a gold 130, which means it pays 130 towards frames. That's kind of how they name it. And then we are now offering a gold 200 that will pay 200 on frames. This, it is actually a pre-taxed benefit, and it is at the sole discretion of the employee.
What do you mean by pre-tax?
That means that what they pay to buy this insurance comes out of their check before that income is taxed on federal state.
Okay, I'm with you.
I'm
with you now.
Yeah, and so this one is pre-tax, and it's just adding them another option.
So how many people's on that?
You know, honestly, Mayor, there are very, very few. Dozen? 12? Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood. I will digress just momentarily, but what we try to do is we try to educate them on all of their benefits, and we do offer a flexible spending account, which is pre-tax as well, and it's more flexible in that they can use that for co-pays or over-the-counter drugs or Band-Aids or sunscreen, different things like that. So it's not just your premiums go just for your glasses, so we kind of talk to them. So there's not a lot of people that participate, but some do like it and want it.
So does the representative for this policy, does he come down and talk to them at all?
Yes, as a matter of fact, this year open enrollment is going to be November 14th, most day, and the 15th, half a day. And this is the first time we've kind of let them do come and go for a few years, but this year it's going to be mandatory. And each employee is going to need to sit down with each representative from all of these benefits. And they don't have to listen for a long time if they don't want to, but we're going to ask them if they want to wait, fine. If you want to enroll, fine. But we want you to be sure to know the benefits available to you.
That can be overwhelming.
It is. It's a nice benefits package. And I know we encourage them if they would like to bring a spouse or a family member.
We're talking about number 5, talk about the supplemental insurance coverage.
Yes, this is a supplemental coverage. In addition, our health insurance plan pays for one basic eye exam per person on the plan for $25 copay annually. And then this is just basically to help you to buy your glasses or contacts.
We approve the employee vision insurance renewal for the 2025 plan year.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any other discussion on it? If not, it's a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Number
you.
5.
Add updated supplemental insurance coverage to offer to eligible employees for the 2025 plan year.
This one is similar in that Monica had used to handle this for us. Now we are going with Vern with Insight Wealth Strategies. He is offering some more enriched plans on Allstate, which you've heard of Aflac. This Allstate coverage is a lot like that. It's just a different, and actually Allstate is very good in providing benefits on these plans. I did make an error on the action item under background, too much copy and pasting. On the second line, it is not on a pre-tax basis. These are on a post-tax basis. And some of the plans include accident, cancer, and critical illness, which includes heart, stroke,
Cancer.
And these pay directly to the policyholder. It doesn't come through, you don't go to your insurance company or the hospital, it goes to you. And the really nice thing is a lot of these plans, if you do any type of preventive care screenings, you can get like $50 or $60 back annually. So it's a nice plan, totally up to the employee at their discretion. They don't have to take it. If they want to take it, we're more than happy to offer to.
This first year we've offered this.
Actually, we've offered Allstate, I can't even tell you how long, but with Monica retiring and Vern coming on, he is bringing a little more to us.
Okay.
So we're going to continue what we had with your approval, but then enrich some other.
So they'll have this, so they'll come in and talk to each employee.
Yes, sir. So we plan to do it at the water treatment facility and have them all sitting at tables. They're going to have like some door prizes and things for employees. And we've got, Katie has made a sheet for each vendor and they have to sign, the vendor has to initial that the employee went through, and so that they can explain to them what they are.
So you're going to have their spouses be there too?
They're more than welcome.
Okay.
Yes.
But well, I mean, when you put it out, you like to have spouses with them or?
We do, because I hate to say it, but the majority of our employees are men.
Yeah.
A lot of times they need to ask the wife, and we're more than happy to have them come.
I make a motion that we accept the, what is it, secondary?
Updated supplementary.
Second.
Okay, so your supplementary insurance covered to offer eligible employees for 2025?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Okay, it's been moved second. Any other discussion on it? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
6.
A resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to accept a bid submitted by Prado Construction for the Hike Bike Trail Extension Phase 2, accepting federal funds from KDOT and commit city matching funds for $296,000.
So we're finally to that point where we got past the design phase and went out for bids on October 16th, and Prado Construction out of Valley Center was a low bid at 1.3 million, about 346.44, with our matching funds being 296,000. So construction on this will begin sometime between May and June of 2025.
We've been doing this for almost 4 or 5 years, isn't it?
Longer than that. Do we have a master plan showing where the paths are going to go? And
there is a master plan that we've done in the past on the walking trails. So this phase 2 goes from Paris Park,
Mhm.
and then kind of along the Mill Canal, and then follows Summit, and comes back around to up Lincoln and then back into the canal.
What's it, about another 2.5 miles to it?
I don't, it'd be close to that probably. I don't have the exact number off my head, but yeah, close to that.
So the total trail will be almost 5 miles then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, basically double what's out there now.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there is a master plan for other trails around the community. We did Summit Central Trail this past year, working on a grant now to continue that up to Kansas. And then there's some other, future plans over on the east side to tie in like Needler Pond and some of those areas at some point in the future. But so there's many, many years of plans there.
Yeah. I know if there were more AC grads here, they would be asking, what are we going to do with the bridge and the concession stand that's there now?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to bring up.
Yeah.
Last time we talked, of course, it was under Nick Hernandez, but that's been several years ago, but we was going to put that on one of the trails, for a shelter, where they get under, use that brick and stuff, the walls off that.
Well, it wasn't going to be moved. He said we weren't going to tear it down.
Who said?
Nick. It wasn't going to be moved. It was going to stay where it's at. On the bridge.
Well,
yeah.
Well, so we're not going to do anything to disturb that at the moment. So we won't tear it down.
Okay. Okay.
Make that clear. And then we can figure out a way to utilize that.
Yeah.
I understand there is some community.
There's a lot of community backing of that.
Yeah.
But that is will not be bulldozed to make room for.
Okay.
Do you mind repeating where it'll go? I couldn't hear, please.
Yeah, so it starts at Paris Park, and then it'll go along the Mill Canal, and then it goes down to First Street, falls out a little bit, and then it goes to Summit. It'll hook up with the athletic facility for the college, and then it goes up Lincoln, and then ties back into the canal or the levee trail.
And along that Mill Canal, are they gonna, we're gonna be a distance off from it?
There's fence in this bid.
They're gonna fence it, okay.
Yeah. There's part of that trail that's already been done on South First Street. So that you can kind of see where it's going to match up when we get there.
I was just concerned on the mill or the canal.
Yeah.
There is fencing.
I know that's quite a drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it comes out of Veterans Lake, that area where it starts, is that you're gonna go that way? Is that right?
Well, no, where it comes off at Lincoln there, where the trail ends basically, there at the sports facility. That's where it'll go up the dike there and then tie in with all that on the.
It basically comes down in front of my place
yeah.
for a little bit, and then it jumps over to First Street and then up to the canal.
Do they have an end completion date? Like a start date? How long is it going to?
In the construction company, they'll be some kind of.
Nope.
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Okay.
I don't think it'll take.
Until we let the bid, we won't really know.
I don't think it'll take very long. There's not a lot of, along the canals, it's all pretty flat land.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of just really building sidewalk.
Yeah. Okay.
And the matching funds are available. They're in the CIP funds now. Part of that was from college funds when the city sold Carver Park to the college, and then there's some.
And KG&E had funds going that too because.
Yes, for the old water treatment.
Yeah, right. Mhm. Well, that being said, I make a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to accept a bid submitted by Pedro Construction LLC for the hike and bike trail extension phase 2, accepted federal funds from KDOT and commitment city matching funds of $296,000.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Second. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it simultaneously.
Okay.
In unison.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Any other discussion on it? Okay, it's a voice vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 1 on environmental service department.
A resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to accept a bid submitted by Wildcat Construction Company Incorporated to perform work on water supply well number 16 generator and platforms for an amount not to exceed $637,300. And Rod Philo is here.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, this cost is for the top of the well, the platform for the pumps, actually pumping water out of the well, platform for the backup generator. That backup generator will be able to run 2 wells, so when we offset well number 3, it'll be connected.
This is out at the well field?
Yes.
But we're not going to be drilling a well. This will be all on top of the ground.
Yeah, this is just the top of the grade.
Okay.
And we already have a contract. And they should be getting started on that.
Drilling a well.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, actually, the same building. So, yeah, we already got that.
Okay.
I'll take care of it.
Where's well 16 located?
Well, 16 will be about 100 foot away from well 4.
As you go in the gate,
Go in the north field, yeah.
Okay.
You have 9, 3, 2's on the other side, which is 13 now on the other side of the road, and then 4.
Okay.
So 4's the one that's farthest to the north.
Okay.
Rod, I got a question. Why did we drill them just 100 foot apart? Usually like an oil field, it's like 330 feet and stuff.
Yeah, that's a legal distance for one.
Okay.
Because well 4 will be plugged, and then the new well will be about 100 foot away. So
Okay.
that's about as close as you can also.
this is all set up in the budget, ready to go.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, I propose a resolution authorizing the city of Arkansas City to accept a bid submitted to Wildcat Construction Company Incorporated to perform work on water supply well number 16 generator and platforms for the amount not to exceed $637,300.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved to second. Any more discussion on it? If not, it's a voice vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I got a question.
Yeah.
On the water tower, how are we getting along? Are we getting close to being done?
Yeah, the only thing that's left is they have like a paint drip shield on the bottom, and they have to remove that, paint the bottom. And the weather hadn't been conducive for them to get that. But I'm hoping they still might get that.
And they haven't got the Creekstone logo thing on there yet, or?
Yeah, it's all.
Okay.
Well, that's
I haven't been by there, so.
Yeah, looks nice.
Yeah, it does.
And then hopefully in a week or so, we'll get back to normal. We get that tower filled up and.
Well, actually, we're doing real well without it now. I had Ross Lambert with Aces. He's kind of a VFD expert. And he actually got the pumps working on pressure just steady as can be.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful news.
It's running so good that I did ask him, I did get a call from the motel this afternoon because a fuse blew in the station and the pressure dropped off, and they called as soon as that happened. Got a hold of the guys, they replaced the fuse and it just went right back up.
Good. So everybody's happy?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Rod. City Attorney Department, number 1.
An ordinance adopting by reference the standard traffic ordinance for Kansas City's 51st edition, prepared and published in book form in 2024 by the League of Kansas Municipalities.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Some of you are familiar with this, maybe all of you are, that the standard traffic ordinances in this city, in many cities, most cities, are adopted by reference rather than having to make our own code. The legislature, as you know, meets every year. They make laws, they change laws. We're blessed to have the League of Kansas Municipalities that keeps track of all that, puts out the standard traffic ordinances for us, and then any changes, they're also not kind enough just to go over it, they're kind enough to send changes to us. It's my recommendation that the changes that you have before you, along with the entire STO be adopted by reference again. If you would like, I can go through these changes one by one.
Is there just two?
No.
Oh, okay.
That was, you're maybe looking at the UPOC.
I am, okay.
Yeah, the standard traffic ordinance. There's a handful of changes.
Okay.
You can go through those if you'd like, but give you the option.
Some of these STOs have been modified to the benefit of the public. Am I correct? I mean, they're not going to be,
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And a couple of them in particular, just the history of driving while suspended. Several years ago, many years ago, it was connected mainly with DUI.
Right.
And, but what we found was people were getting DUIs, getting large fines, couldn't drive to work. It made sense that, just intuitively that you would take somebody's driver's license who's not doing well with it. So it's either 2 or 3 years ago, they did some work, the legislature did some work on that to say, okay, we're going to allow some, rather than just suspending, maybe some restrictions. This is kind of really in a kind of a offshoot from that, is saying that this list of bulleted items that you will see before you these just don't seem to connect to driving. So we're not going to use those as underlying traffic infractions or infractions. They're still infractions, but they're not going to go against your license. What you're saying is true. That would benefit the public in that now you're allowing someone who still has the penalties they would have, but yet they're restricted. They can go to work. They can pay those hefty fines. They can continue to pay taxes. That's what we want. And then I think here, the very last one you're probably referring to is Senate Bill 500, where those that are determined by the court that, and also by the Department of Revenue, that just can't afford something. There's that option for judges to act. And then there's a mandate actually for the Kansas Department of Revenue to restrict rather than suspend in certain circumstances that they have listed there. So I think those are the main ones that you're thinking about.
And this is something we do every year.
Yes, every year, a legislature meets. They can't leave it alone. They amend something.
Yeah.
And these are really, and I agree with Mr. Tweedy, these are good amendments.
That's how I'm reading through them, and some of these are comical that they used to be a go against your driver's license.
Yeah, it really is.
Jaywalking.
Section 130, clinging to
a vehicle.
Yeah.
Riding on bicycles, seats, riders limited.
All the things that aren't wide, infractions, but not go get your license.
Hey, you know what? It's one of the few times I've seen government make common sense calls. I'm up for it.
Try once in a while.
Well, Mayor, I move we adopt an ordinance by reference to the standard traffic ordinance for Kansas City's 51st edition, prepared and published in book form in 2024 by the League of Kansas Municipalities.
Okay. Any other discussion on it? Or I need a second. Okay. Use Diane's second. Is there any discussion on it? If not, it's going to be a roll call vote.
Commissioner Jason?
Yes.
Commissioner Stoneman?
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedy?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes. Okay, number 2.
An ordinance adopting by reference the Uniform Public Offense Code for Kansas City's 40th edition, prepared and published in book form in 2024 by the League of Kansas Municipalities.
Well, again, the League of Kansas Municipalities is not just about traffic, it's about our public defense code as well, which is, as mentioned, is provided to us in booklet form. If you would like to purchase that as well, very helpful to the officers. And very few changes here, just so few, I'll just mention them. Disorderly conduct is a statute that can be proven out several different ways. This is actually a change by our Supreme Court, City of Wichita versus Griffey, where our Supreme Court said noisy conduct as defined in the statute is overly broad. If you want to use it, you're going to have to narrow it down. So they declared that unconstitutional. So rather than us having to go in and amend everything, this is part of the new UPOC, so we can just adopt it. It'll be adopted without that provision. 9.9.1, unlawful possession of marijuana and touch of criminals and drug paraphernalia and unlawful possession of controlled substances. The legislature did a good thing here. And this really came about, the thrust of it, by the rise in, unfortunately, in fentanyl use and overdoses where officers would come on a scene and there would be illegal substances laid out there. It would be a person that was passed out in really life-threatening situation. And one of the people there with them participating in the same thing was in a dilemma. I mean, do I admit I'm here? Do I admit I'm part of this? And so the legislature has given them immunity from any prosecution under certain conditions if they call for help and get that person help rather than just saying, hey, I'm out of here, splitting. And so now it's not absolute. As I said, it's in the normal situation, somebody's passed out, somebody calls, then you're going to have immunity. But if it's found later that you were in possession of something to the degree that there's a presumption that you were intending to distribute, you will not get that immunity. Or if what you were doing can be proven by an independent source outside of that immediate area you were in, you don't have immunity. And also the flip side of this is kind of tough because you think an officer coming into this, what if they arrest somebody and probably shouldn't have? They get immunity unless their conduct was reckless or they knew when they intentionally violated the statute. But they have some protection there too for making a mistake.
The officers do.
Yeah, the officers do. That can be cleaned up later. So very good changes, very needed changes. I recommend that you adopt the UPOC with really just those two broad changes.
This is going to take a lot of public advertising to get this information out to people so they'll know that if they report something, they won't get in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, but how would you publicize that? I mean,
well, maybe through the defense bar.
Yep.
I remember several times in high school, kids getting dropped off at the emergency room.
Yeah.
They just leaving them on the porch and leaving. So I think this is a great thing.
So
I think this will.
It is true. Yeah. And I think that's a good point and something that I'll mention to school administrators because they have people come in and talk.
Yeah.
Had that talking about. Nobody would ever need that, but yeah, right. Obviously
it's a strange world.
We live in reality. Right. I recommend that you accept the UPOC with these changes.
And I will add that I am going to post again the website version we have purchased or will purchase when it's approved. So these changes, the whole entire STO and UPOC will be available to public. All officers get a copy of both books with our ordinance, and then I also attach a copy of these changes because you don't know what's changed, and this explains it very clearly.
Question, Chief's here, and he wasn't here when we had a work session. We talked about that fentanyl money we got, from the state. How can we use it, maybe getting some people in, talking to our high school kids or something like that, and maybe if we did that, maybe that's what we bring this thing up, in a seminar type thing. I'm just talking out loud, What do you think, Chief?
Those opioid funds are treatment, education, so that would be a good option.
Okay, but it kind of has come from the police, wouldn't it? I mean, police to the school districts and stuff where we do something like that, or how would that be happen?
Yeah, I think they recommend, like, I wouldn't say a committee, but someone to review those suggestions and ideas and recommend if we should use those funds for it.
Do we figure out somebody to be in charge of that or something? Or because I bet Buddy's just sitting there. We need to probably use some of it, I mean.
Yeah, we'll get together and talk about that and
okay.
Bring back some suggestions on that because we do. At first, those dollars are kind of coming in slow, but they're starting to come in now and pile up, and so we do need to figure out a way.
I think we got like $30,000 or $40,000 built up so far, and I mean we wouldn't be able to spend it all, but we could spend some, get a good speaker come in or something, talk to the kids, and then bring this thing up too at the same time, That if you find a buddy, in trouble, you need to help him, instead of just dropping him off like you were saying at the hospital.
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
No. Well, I propose an ordinance adopting by reference the Uniform Public Offense Code for Kansas City's 40th edition, prepared and published in book form 2024 by the League of Kansas Municipalities.
Second.
You get it? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion on it? If not, it's a roll call vote.
Commissioner Beeson,
Yes.
Commissioner Spillier,
Yes.
Commissioner Tweedy,
Yes.
Mayor Warren.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Larry. City manager updates.
So I laid on the table up there tonight, the 2025 holiday calendar. We propose using the floating holiday this year for the day after Christmas. So with Christmas Day falling Thursday, that would give 26th as the floating holiday for next year. And we need to certify the calendar for capers and then some of the benefits that the payroll administers. So I just want to get that in front of you so you knew if you had a big objection to that, and we change it, but that was.
So you'll bring it to our next meeting?
Well, no, just gonna, I don't think you need to approve.
Okay,
it.
okay.
Make sure that you guys are okay with it.
Sure.
And then the other updates, the Veterans Day Parade will be the 9th at 11 a.m. So I don't know, Jill's here, if she has anything she wants to talk about on that, but just wanted you to be aware of that this coming Saturday. City Hall will be closed on the Monday, the 11th for Veterans Day. And then again, we'll be closed on the 28th and 29th for Thanksgiving. Work session would be scheduled for the 29th with the meeting in, it's going to be December 3rd. So I don't know that any of you want to come in on a Thanksgiving Friday and for a work session. So
we do it on Monday.
We could do it on Monday if you want.
Hey, it keeps the wife from shopping with.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, get back to.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can schedule that for the December 2nd on Monday then. And then Christmas in the city is set up for November 30th. And I think most events start around 11 a.m. Is that correct? And then the tree lighting will be at 6 p.m. So there'll be a whole lot of stuff going on during the day downtown for that. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. So that's really all I've got. I'm kind of at the end of the year now.
The parade is that night as well.
The parade's at night?
So
okay.
The lighting might be at a quarter till.
Okay.
Just the leeway there. But almost everything is that day.
Jill, when's the Santa run?
That day.
That day too?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have the time on me. I'm thinking 11 to 2. And then they're having the library in the breezeway and I'll have cocoa and stuff for, I think, 4 o'clock. We're trying to keep people downtown for the parade is the goal. And so there'll be stuff on Visit Our City's page and the Chamber page both. But I was looking at it today and pretty much everything's that day. It's not Business Saturday.
So plenty for you guys to do in the next few weekends. And then at the next meeting, we're at the end of the year and we'll have to, we need to do, look at the budget. We've been obviously monitoring it throughout the year, but looks like we'll need to do a budget amendment on the water department the year here. We've had some expenses that weren't planned for with, so that'll be on the next agenda. So you're aware of that. All the other budgets look pretty good. There's no need to do any budget amendments on any of the other departments with all the extra activity that's happened this year. We'll need to make some adjustments to the expenditures on that. That's all I've got.
And then we'll have the golf carts next meeting.
I think so.
Okay.
Let's not promise anything.
I did relook at that. Ken came in on Monday morning and I hadn't even had a chance to peek, but I have since looked at about 4 other cities and I will partner with Larry. There were some other revisions I'd like to see too to kind of, if we're going to add golf carts, we need to make sure the language throughout speaks to them. So just making sure it's all clean and ready to go and well defined.
We'll be able to discuss it on our next work session. Okay.
Well defined, that's the.
Well defined.
Okay.
The definition for golf cart.
All right. Anybody from the city commission got anything to say?
Just, Chief, did Arkalala go pretty smooth?
Yes, it did.
Good.
What about the consumption we had going up and down? Did that any problems with that or?
We did have some violations. We just gave out warnings.
Okay. But they didn't give you any problems about that. I mean,
No. Okay. Once we told them that wasn't common consumption area, they went back where they're supposed to be.
Okay, good.
uninformed or ill-informed.
Ill-informed.
Or playing dumb. I will say this, I don't know if I should say this, I went to 3 different establishments to purchase a beverage and was, at all 3 of them, they told me your consumption area is here to here, alley to alley, Chestnut to Washington, that's all you're good for. And so, I mean, I was impressed that the vendors or the establishments were following the rules so strict.
That was the first night. We had an officer, in fact, Captain Legletter went to each establishment and reminded them of what the instructions were. And then I think ABC agent also informed them. So the next 2 nights, all the customers should have been well informed.
Well, I didn't go drinking the first night, so maybe I caught them when they were being really good.
I did, and I was not informed.
Okay. Well, they did a great job on Saturday and Friday.
And we can talk later. I don't know if the carnival area is something we want to allow in.
I don't like it.
No.
Too many kids.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's what I wondered. So.
The main problem for officers was identifying the cups.
Yeah.
Especially since the carnival drinks were using the same exact cups as one of the businesses. And it was difficult to identify.
One of the businesses ran out of stickers to put on their cups and
They were writing on them.
they were just writing on them. Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, we just say how to identify back to the place that they got it. So the state says if you write on it, it's okay. So that's up to us if we want to change that.
So that's a first year learning.
Yeah.
But our caterers down here were allowing underage people inside. And
In the bar area.
yes. The night that I was there was a stroller in there with a baby. And it's like,
Well, as long as you're with parents, you're good with that. As far as, I mean, the child, I know my sister, she had a kid. She went to the bar and she was underage. The baby could stay with dad at the bar because he was overage, or he was of age, but my sister had to go off. So I might want to look into that. I don't know if they were,
It's okay with that. Our city is.
okay, fair enough.
We do have provisions against that, so I will.
Okay.
Never mind. And that is a tough one. I mean, it's
The city doesn't allow children in bars?
no, you would have to meet the 30% food sales and tax.
Because I knew there were kids in the pool hall, and that's what I
Right,
did
yeah, and that's where they're meeting that requirement.
with the food.
They're supposed to be receipts and we approve that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's new for them. They just took ownership. So
Yeah.
we're working through those.
I know in the smaller town, we see it all the time.
Yeah, and each city is different. And the state doesn't, like, you're absolutely right. The state says you can bring a baby to the bar, but the city, our city says, you gotta be a restaurant,
Yeah.
to be able to. So, yeah, anyway.
Anybody sign up for that? That's not on the agenda.
I don't have anyone signed up. I believe there might be someone here that would.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Sure.
I wanted to talk about the water department a little bit, right?
You might state your name.
Steve Young, 1118 North 10th, Park City. We had to tap in some of your experience.
Okay.
I took quite a tongue lashing from social media, from the wives of some of the city employees. I get a kick out of that sometimes. Seriously though, my neighbor had a little main break.
Right.
Sunday morning, we were going out to church, I was outside, and Larry moved it. He called it in. Water's coming up multiple places, just chip seal road out there on 10. But it's coming up quite a few spots. There's a 4x8 concrete patch already there. They've been down 3 times before. I've lived in my house 35 years. So Larry called it in, went to church, and I get up Monday morning, 3, 4 o'clock, and I woke that plant operator up when I didn't have any water because they chose not to fix it. I understand some of that, but I also understand that our city is going to be hitting us up for more money for street repairs, water department repairs, and street maintenance go hand in hand. I mean, they're so close together, I don't see how they're separated. So we've got a hole out there now. It's 9 days old, it's 4-inch line. It ain't 30 inches down. And it's still open 9 days later. got a couple of them roll out, take a little shooter pump, take an hour to pump out water. I could have done it with a bucket. Rod, I'm just simply saying that as you build your department, because I see where you got money you're going to be spending. I saw something a while back about a new line stop machine.
Pouring machine.
Board machine. So you're going to get a directional bore machine.
It'll go on the right of way instead of under the street, so that.
Well, which is great.
Right.
And all I'm saying, I'm not throwing rocks at Philo or nothing. I think he's a smart guy. He's a friendly fella. I like him. But man, we got to do something with production on your crew. Time is money. Now, when I go on social media, I put a little something on yours and I jump over on that ask and answer, and I threw one out there. You want to know what's wrong with your streets? The water department takes 24 hours while they let it bubble. And boy, I got hit by, and you guys are in good shape because some of your wives think you're going to replace all them city lines. They misunderstand. Money, it just can't be done. Now, I understand your development and what you guys have to do as you go reaching out to supply water in other areas, but I've got this hole out there. I paid more taxes than I paid for that house, Mayor. I got a section of curb that's dropped down, looks like a broke dog's leg. You got a 40,000 excavator out there, and it takes a little bump. It takes a little want to fix your deal. Now, I heard Marla talking about benefits. Your city employees got the best benefits going. I've been on social media taking heat when I claim that city has good Cadillac benefits. Those benefits aren't available in a private industry unless you really dig deep in them pockets. You got lower wage people you bring in. I tend to disagree a little bit with that. And make a note, because I'm saying maybe you ought to start a little higher on an entry level wage for some of your boys. I run through Kansas Open Records. I wanted to check and find out what are we paying our people. And I found out what they are getting paid, the top levels. And I see a disparity between the third level and Mr. Philo, that's pretty substantial. Now, I'm not putting them with your education and your skills on knowing stuff, but Rod, you ain't out there in that hole fixing those pipes. Those young men that you've hired in recently, I don't know what I'm asking, Mayor. I'm saying that maybe you should speak to your HR gal a little bit. When I've got a man that's 370, standing out there, I don't care if he's 25 years old, he's not going to bend over and pick that up that easy. As I look at what I see on our crews, now I don't know what she's got out there for applicants, but for crying out loud, man, it's a skilled job. You can learn how to operate all that equipment, some of the nicest equipment out there, but what's it going to take to get somebody out there under you that acts like they give a rat's ass about fixing that street? That's what you get a lot. And Rod, if they're only drawing 10, 12, 14 bucks an hour, some of them younger ones don't care about that benefit. They don't see that $10 an hour, I think, is more accurate for the increased benefit package they get. They don't care about that. But what I don't like is, as I look at my city, I live here, I love my city. But I'm not up to here with expenses and costs. And when I blew up the little main break deal, but I got no water. They'd been notified 20 hours earlier. Nobody came out there to fix it. Who makes that? We were in a drought. It's not like water's abundant. So I'm disgruntled. I'm always disgruntled, Chad. I'm going to come here.
Hey, I don't think you're not being disgruntled. You're not being inappropriate. You're not being.
Well, I can get that.
You got a good point.
But I just simply want to bring that out, and
if I disparage your department, suck it up a little bit. I mean, that's all I don't mean disrespect, but I'm giving it because I'm not getting much as the water customer is what I feel. One other thing, social media. I put on there about the 5 mil library tax. Mr. Shellman, I believe a Cindy Beeson, I don't know if that's.
My mama.
Is that her?
My mama.
But she said something about that'll free up $500,000 for the city. Mr. Shellman responded to that comment, and that little thread got pulled off there. He responded and said it's illegal for the city to retain any monies they've received under that library tax. I mean, if you get $500,000, you got to give $500,000 to the library, is what he said. I don't know anything about it. Can't say I don't care, but it's not up there on my, but you know what I mean?
It'll be, you're going to lower the mill levy, is what we'll be doing.
Well, yes, but you're not going to retain.
No.
She was incorrect as she mentioned that they were going to retain that. But hey, man, I mean, that's kind of important because everybody out there is going to, they read it one time and that's etched in stone. No, I saw that.
Right.
And so you fight that a little bit on that social media with that misinformation or whatever. I'll spout some things off, but I'll come find one of you guys and I'll ask you and I'll make sure it's right. That's kind of what I'm doing here now. I look at Rod Philo in his department. It's a pretty important department. We need to help him a little bit trying to get somebody that's worth hiring and put them out there on those crews. Because those aren't, you guys might have the attitude towards it as being grunt work. I look at those guys out there in that hole with want to fix that street just as important as what he does on the upper end of this thing, keeping those wells going.
I've been in that hole. I agree with you.
So I'm just saying.
That's 5 minutes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
On that, can we get that hole fixed for him? I mean, that.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I'm sure Rod.
It's on the list.
Okay, I understand.
They get to them as they can.
Yeah.
Well,
primarily, they want to make sure the leak is stopped, right, before they start filling it in again.
I've never seen anybody who remembers his Doug Webb when there's a bunch of holes out there.
Doug was the best boss you'll ever have. He truly was the best boss you ever had.
Yeah, I can remember spending a few.
You know, he's got a point.
Long, I can keep.
Well, yeah. And that's what I say, right? People take it offensively when I criticize my city. Sorry, I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Hey,
but I'm not.
My feelings aren't hurt. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
And I just simply want to, because I know Philo, I think he does a fine job for what he does. I think he's lacking on his crew. And when we get down there on the, and that little deal we get to it when we can, I think,
Yeah, no, they got.
I don't, I want to put a priority to it. When water's pushing up through a street somewhere, add to it, we're in a drought.
Right.
We're in a drought. And water's pushing up through a street. Water is merciless.
Yeah.
What it does underground. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just asking for a little more.
Look at what the Great Flood did to you.
The Great Flood did to earth.
Yeah.
You talking about Noah's Day?
Yeah.
All right, good enough. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Young.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
I guess there's nothing else. There, a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Ron, for coming.
And I spent the morning. Oh, no. Might have sent me an email. I didn't get